Adam's first night in captivity was incredibly strange. He had no issue sleeping through the minor pains that emanated from his puncture wounds resultant of the examination, but he had a remarkable dream. It was incredibly vivid, and he was convinced it was real. In this dream, he was laid out naked back in his human form, in a wide, lush meadow. The grasses were high, and a gentle breeze kissed his skin as he laid in the shade of a single large oak tree amongst the open field as wide as the eye could see. While he laid in this place of peace, Adam felt a near excruciating pain in his floating ribs. Even in a dream state, the pain was extreme and persistent. A woman, a gorgeous woman, who looked very similar to Donna, walked toward Adam as an intensely bright light shone from behind her, accentuating her curves. As she moved closer, Adam's senses were heightened as he noticed that she was also naked and was minimally covered with a slight but beautiful pink and white cluster of aromatic flowers. She approached and laid next to Adam. Without a word, the two began their caress and made love more passionately than Adam had ever remembered. And then, still without a word being spoken, an abrupt noise broke the stifling silence. It sounded exactly like the low-fidelity hum and deafening pop that Adam remembered when his ship was displaced from its journey through space. In an instant, Adam began quickly floating toward a large disc-shaped object resting still in the sky. Still having the pain in his abdomen, he tried to twist to catch one last glimpse of the woman with whom he just shared the most intimate moment of his life, but could not move. He was sucked into a bright light and then quickly jolted awake by the deafening, sizzling sound of his cell opening. Something about this dream felt more realistic than any other dream he had ever had. As he woke, he looked at his newly lengthened green fingers, and the thoughts that came to mind were that he needed to get the antidotes back and return to his human form and go home. He heard a telepathic voice say, "Yes, the antidotes." Adam got a chill and looked up to the door of his cell, and standing in front of him was a menacing-looking light brown creature, similar in size to the present version of himself. The creature's head looked like 3 large and seamless baseballs pressed together into a triangle. The top 2 balls were these enormous yellow eyes which had large pupils reminiscent of those of a goat. The third was the location of a slit-like opening of a mouth. The creature stood slightly silhouetted and didn't say or think a word. Adam recoiled and felt intimidated, and that was certainly not something characteristic of him. He was being driven by his confusion and uncertainty. Adam could not move and seemed paralyzed by the moment. He thought, "Who are you?" The creature glided quickly forward in a motionless stance and closed distance uncomfortably on Adam. With one of the lanky 3-fingered hands, he reached out and grasped Adam's shoulder. In a slow and even tone, and in a voice thickened by a German accent, the being replied to the question that Adam only asked in his mind. "Mentis. Dr. Heinrich Mentis." Adam felt chills all over his rubbery green skin. "What did you just say?" Adam asked in confusion through his awkward and newly found high-pitched voice. In an emphatic voice, Dr. Mantis slowly and deliberately repeated, "I said, Adanaut, I am Dr. Heinrich Mantis." Adam lurched back and immediately sat up straight on the silver table in his cell. Dr. Mantis took a firm hold of Adam's elbow and said, "Hush, Adanaut. Communicate with me only through your mind for now. They will surely listen if I am here too long. Ask me what you wish, but I have things to tell you as well and do not have much time now." Adam did as he was directed and the two began to exchange thoughts. Adam sensed that the being was non-threatening, and the name it spoke was eerily familiar. Adam began.
There was a Dr. Mantis on Earth over a half-century ago. I remembered because Dr. Mantis was the writer of some of my training curriculum. Are you that Dr. Mantis? And how can that be? You died. You died more than 70 years ago. I wish it would have been that simple, Adanaut. Aliens have been plucking us from our lives for thousands of years, Dr. Mantis communicated. Every time they find us be getting closer to their secrets or when they see us as a threat, they remove one or more of us and bring us to this god-awful smelly space prison. It would have been easier if I died, the doctor continued.
Adam asked in his mind,
How old are you now, Doctor?
Dr. Mantis answered,
I'm still near the age of when I was sniped for my life.
The doctor's thought snapped, then he continued.
Time here is barely relevant, and these aliens have successfully managed to manipulate the time-space continuum to perfect time travel. I have been here for I don't even know how long. When I came, I was a prisoner like you, also amongst other adanauts. Some of them were tortured and others killed for no purpose. I was able to escape this place and integrate into their world after mutating my genetic profile to assume this new horrendous identity. For quite a while now, I have lived amongst these vile wretches. I was able to secure a position here as a god, knowing that when the bringer of the antidotes came, I would be here to help.
Wait,
you knew about the antidotes before I was captured?
Adam questioned in his mind.
We all did,
the doctor continued.
All who remain anyway. There was an Adanaut here a while ago who was brought from the 22nd century, as we on Earth know and understand time. He told us of the one who would bring the antidotes that would enable us to return to our intended forms and return home. That is you, Adam. Unfortunately, that friend was laid out on a table where his flesh was peeled from his body like an orange, and then he was filleted like a fish, while we were made to watch and endure, all to send a message.
Adam interrupted the doctor's thought.
Doctor, you said we all do. Who are we?
Dr. Mantis replied in thought.
Adam, there are 4 others like us here, also removed from their lives on Earth. They are in the cells next to you. All of us have been waiting for you so we can escape, get the antidotes, and reclaim our original forms and return to our times and places of abduction back on Earth with our loved ones. There is also another who has embedded herself in this alien world, helping me to prepare for the Great Escape. She has paid close attention to the news of your crash and knows where the ship is, but speculates that the aliens have recovered the antidotes and compounds you possessed.
Adam assured the doctor that the antidotes and compounds were incredibly well hidden on the ship, and that they would be impossible to find regardless of how intrusive any search would be. Suddenly, the loud electronic buzzing sound of the door to the main corridor opening echoed down the hallway. Dr. Mantis quickly lunged at Adam and inserted a metal chip into a small area on the back of Adam's oblong, large, and misshapen head. While he did this, he communicated,
This is something that will prevent unintended targets from intercepting your thoughts.
He then, even more quickly, turned over Adam's wrist to open his palm as he placed a round tennis ball-sized object in his hand. It looked like one of those gross popcorn balls you get from old people on Halloween when you were a kid. Dr. Mantis said,
Eat this. It's 100% nutrient, as we don't eliminate waste here.
Adam curiously wondered to himself, then what is the hole in the floor for? Dr. Mantis quickly answered the thought.
Next time, Adanaut.
As he abruptly left and closed the cell, and began to make his way to greet the guard who was relieving him of his daily duties. Adam felt encouraged by the visit, and his curiosity was piqued. He now saw a path forward for returning home. He began to wonder about the other captives, and when this escape could or would happen. He also wondered when he would see the renowned doctor again.